Thank you, Dean Guerin. It is my pleasure to be here in the birthplace of legal education. I was taking a walk this morning, and lo and behold, there's the first law school in the world right here. So very, very appropriate that a Congress to discuss different ways of resolving disputes would be located here where legal education got its beginning. I, as Dean Guerin said, teach in a business school. I've taught occasionally in law schools, but in business schools we have a slightly different view, perhaps analogous to the different views of the Chamber of Commerce and the Bar Association, to the way law appropriately operates within the context of a business environment. The Wharton School has been very, very aggressive, both in teaching law, which is an interesting facet of business education. Our founder, Joseph Wharton, started the first collegiate school of business in 1881, and he made law a required course for business students in 1881. And in 1881, there were no antitrust laws in the United States. There were no regulations of no agencies. The first regulatory agency came in the late 1880s with the Interstate Commerce Commission, which regulates railroads. So all this had yet to happen, and yet Joseph Wharton thought law should be taught to business people. I think that that tradition is continued, and it indicates to us the integration of business and law in a wise business decision maker. And as I'll remark a little later, I think what we're looking for nowadays is for the lawyers to integrate a little more business thinking in the way that they handle legal problems for business. And somewhere between these two extremes, we find a common purpose to protect rights and efficiently take care of business disputes so that people can leave the past behind and move on to the future. I want to talk just briefly today about a couple of things. First, why the challenges of international business negotiations and dispute resolution are particularly our concern today in the 21st century. Second, the 5 biggest challenges that make this international negotiation and dispute resolution particularly difficult. And third, a few ideas on what we can have to overcome these difficulties. So, why is this topic relevant today? Let me begin by saying that mediation, alternative dispute resolution is by no means settled, even in the United States, as a normal way to proceed through litigation. There seems to be a topic that's very easy to talk about, much more difficult to institutionalize. There are groups of people who feel passionately about mediation and facilitated dispute resolution as a personal matter. They see their mission in life as making peace between people, bringing people together, ending difficult arguments, and finding reconciliation. There are business interests that see this as something that will reduce costs and make contracts easier to manage. But there are very powerful forces who don't think that this is a very good idea for a variety of reasons. Many lawyers are disturbed by these different approaches because not just do they feel threatened by this as a professional matter, but they deeply feel that it compromises fundamental individual rights. Businesses sometimes don't want to have their disputes resolved. They're quite happy, particularly if they're playing defense, to have the dispute last a long time and delay the day when they may have to pay some money. And so the last thing they want is something quick. And there are many other reasons why this, even in law schools, most dispute resolution courses in the United States are not part of the normal curriculum. They're handled in a clinical education, a little bit to one side of the constitutional law and the contract law. So it's sort of, there's a message there that students in the United States get that this may not be the way to wealth in the legal practice. So we're not just here all agreeing on something that everyone else has already decided is a good idea. We're part of a long, ongoing discussion in many different countries as to how to integrate this in a sensible way that people can agree to, so that we add a tool or two or three, rather than revolutionize the entire way the legal process works. But why are we talking about it at all? First, as was previously mentioned, we live in a global economy, and global economic integration is with us more and more every day in every country in the world.